Gone a bit crazy with my incense. All right. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for your patience, and thank you for taking that 15 minutes of prep time. Those of you, well, I'm going to set fire to my house, those of you who have done live events with me here in Cornwall or elsewhere will know that this beginning time is really important. This is where we spend time setting our space, we spend time getting comfortable, creating a cocoon. Perfect. Hi, Becky. And yeah, and it's really important to spend this opening few minutes just finding our center in this space that we're going to share this evening. So first of all, thank you guys so much for being here. I've done, probably about 12 online sound sessions since this whole new world kicked off, and all in different formats and different ways. I've taught a few classes, attended quite a lot of classes, yoga and a few other things, and all of us are really having to find our way in this online cyber digital world of delivering stuff that is fundamentally really personal and really about holding space and sharing space and being in the same space as people. So I'm sure, like lots of you guys, especially those who I know quite personally, it was so frightening to hear that we had to all stay in and be completely by ourselves. And for me, obviously, everything I do is about holding space and sharing space. So initially I thought, what am I going to do? This is going to be a disaster. There's so many amazing moons and amazing things coming up this season that now I won't be able to share with you. And it's really wonderful to have an opportunity to try to. So thank you all so much for being here. For those who I haven't met before, my name's Jane. I'm based here in beautiful Cornwall, where it is glorious and sunny today. You can't see, I've had to shut the windows to help with the sound when we get into it, but it is amazing. Come and visit when it's all over. For those of you I know, I hope you're all really well. Some of you I've seen more recently than others. Jamie, happy birthday. Hope isolation birthday tomorrow is amazing. And hi, Mum. So hopefully you've all managed to use the chat on the side of your window. This is just a really useful way to communicate with me, because obviously I'm in this room on my own. That's quite far away from me and I haven't got my glasses on. So if I see things pop up over the course of the session, if there's problems, I will jump in and quickly run over and try and respond to you. But hopefully we'll be in a position where we can just rock and roll from now on, as we're able to have that nice starting kind of setup time. So welcome to the full moon. It is the Libra full moon. The full moon was kind of officially early hours this morning. Everyone was like, oh, it was yesterday, but actually it was 3:30 this morning. So it is technically the 8th of April. The moon tonight out there already will be as full to look at as it was last night. So after this session, we should finish just shy of sunset. So hopefully it'll be really a perfect time to get out there and see the moon rise, which I love when it's in that beautiful kind of dusky astronomical twilight sky. The Libra full moon it's weirdly not one of my favourites normally, but it just seems really appropriate this year, the way it's fallen. And we'll talk more about that in a moment. But before we get into the esoteric stuff, just a little bit of admin, especially for those of you who are new to me and I'm new to you. First of all, hopefully you've all got the all-important headphones. Headphones will improve your experience, I promise. They're not essential. If you haven't got them, please don't switch off. It's going to be okay. But you will find that your experience is much improved by listening with headphones. If you don't have them now, this feed will be available to listen back to. Obviously without all my chatter, you can just hear the sounds. And do get some headphones if you listen back. That will really help. If you have the in-ear types, that's fine too. The big over-ear ones are definitely best. So if you have some of those in the house that you want to go and get at some point soon, please do. Obviously we're on YouTube. I chose not to do Zoom, partly because it's already weird enough like presenting to my laptop in my spare room. And I've done lots of presenting in my life and over my career before sound therapy, so I'm not too worried about that. But it's weird when there's lots of people around the edge, especially when none of us can really see each other because it's just too far away. And so I hope those of you who are used to doing things in person don't mind the lack of Zoom, and we might try it for the next one. But all the Zoom yoga classes I've done this last week, and all the feedback I've had from other sound therapists and space holders is that they found it really intrusive. So I'm really keen to hear your feedback. I always am, on the session itself, the content, the sound especially, and of course how you feel about the picture. So please let me know at the end, on email, in whatever way speaks to you. Sound is really powerful, and the experience we've been having so far is that it's just as powerful through the magic of the internet. So if you're normally prone to having quite visual experiences, journeying, kind of shamanic led experiences, then you probably will find you still have those, even though we're in totally different places, which seems a little odd at first. But one of the things I'm doing when I'm playing is using Reiki, and that Reiki reaches out to you energetically wherever you are. Sound is an energetic practice. We don't have to be in the same space at all for it to get into your body at a cellular level and do its magic, to have its power. So if you're thinking you're just going to plug in and it's like listening to Spotify, then do be prepared. You might find yourself going as deep as you do when you're in the room with the gongs. Equally, you may not, but that's the case when you're in the room as well. So don't worry too much either way. Every journey is unique. And as always, I'll be here to answer any questions at the end of the session. I'll stay online for a while. And if you want to message me or FaceTime or however else we normally communicate, then you can feel free to do that in the next day or two as well. Do you have some water near you? If you have small children or pets, just make sure that you know where they are and they know what you're doing, because it can be quite intense if you suddenly get woken up with a cat or a dog or a child leaping on you while you're in a trance. Learn from me, safety first with your fire. If you are working with candles, try not to set yourself on fire. Put them far enough away from you that if you do move suddenly in your sound journey, you may knock something or set fire to yourself. Obviously, we don't want to pressure our emergency services any more than they already are right now. I'm not going to say too much about the reason we're all in, because I feel like we've done a lot of that this week, and I think we all possibly need to use these opportunities to step away from the challenges that some of this new reality is presenting. But I think it's enough to say that intention is very much part of our practice. Obviously, we all have individuals and aspects of our lives that we're working with in terms of our intention, but as a group, it's really wonderful if we can also include the people who are on the front line and working really hard to keep all of us safe in our intentions this evening. So as a group, collectively, the vibration is always stronger when it's unified. So when we do come to intention setting, please do include that in your intention as well. So without further ado, Libra full moon. So the way this works is that I will chat to you for 10 minutes or so just about all sorts of stuff that's going on in front of me. We'll do a little bit of breath work, and we're going to do that with the crystal bowls tonight, which I'll move a bit more into camera shortly. We'll just have a pause to reorganise slightly, and then we're going to go into about a 45-50 minute gong bath. There's a couple of gongs here and a bit out of shot as well, and that will see you through your full moon session, I hope, with lots of bliss and relaxation. So first of all, the Libra full moon is known as the pink moon because it is the return of little pink flowers, those kind of like heathery type flowers that start to scatter over the cliffs, certainly here by the ocean at this time of year. It's just short of the flower moon, which comes next month in May, but it is the return of spring in its truest sense. So in terms of colour and energetics, we work a lot with colours pink and green, which are very spring colours and evocative of flowers and grass, and they're also evocative of the heart chakra, which is represented by pink and green. Libra is ruled by Venus, planet of love, and it's the sign which is about balance, relationships, partnerships, community, how we relate to others, how we relate to ourselves, but it's really about our external relationships, which is why it's such a great moon for this season. It's we're so used to doing our own thing and servicing our own projects, our family, our career, our jobs, everything else. And actually, this time of going inwards, although we're all really overusing the word isolation, is totally about other people and about how we communicate to other people, how we deal with other people. Most certainly my parents and most people's parents had never used Zoom until last week. And it's changing the way we hold our relationships and hold our space together. So this Libra energy is a fantastic way to work this season. I'm just getting my notes so I don't miss anything important for you. Libra is represented certainly in the tarot, which I've got in my little setup down here, by the card Justice, the Major Arcana Justice card, and we'll come to those in a minute. And the idea of justice is really that it's about equilibrium, equanimity, about the kind of leveling of all. We're all the same, we're all even. There is balance and harmony in the universe, no ripples in the force. And I think obviously all of us finding ourselves in this same situation, no matter who we are, this virus has turned out to be a great leveller for society. You know, the Prime Minister being in hospital, the Chief Medical Officer in Scotland being subject to exactly the same rules as the rest of us, are all things that seemed unimaginable until very recently. But this energy right now is very levelling, and it's really about bringing everybody and everything onto the same page, which I think is a great place to be. Those of you that follow me on social will have seen me talk about the Jupiter-Pluto conjunction this last few days. These two planets have been aligning in the cosmos, and this, whether you're particularly esoteric or not, is a really important conjunction. Jupiter is the planet of expansion and growth. Pluto, little tiny Pluto, is the lord of karma, the planet of death and destruction, very scorpionic. He's the ruler of Scorpio, in fact. So these planets aligning creates a really powerful kind of yin-yang energy, like the balance of the Libran scales. We have this distraction and everything we know being torn apart and destroyed, and then Jupiter comes in and takes that destruction Pluto has created and offers expansion and growth and change. There's all sorts of science about why certain planets evoke certain energies, but I can tell you that they really do. So this balance, again, brought in by the planetary conjunction we've just begun now, that will run until November. In fact, it completes on November the 12th. Offers us 6 months of this kind of yin-yang, finding our balance, finding light and shade, black and white, kind of internal, external forces, and deciding what's important, how to level them, how to find our Libran balance. So it's good now to just have a think internally. Maybe if you're taking notes, lots of you I know like to journal. Now's a really good time to have a think about what balance means to you right now, what this Jupiter-Pluto energy might mean. Are there things that need to come out of your life, things that need to come in? I think for lots of us, we're thinking about what we're doing with our jobs, our careers, stuff that seemed so important a month ago just isn't important anymore, and maybe we'll never go back to it. I already know lots of people, and I count myself certainly in part of this, that there's certain parts of my job I know I'll never go back to once we're released. And equally, that's making space for new ideas, for new projects to come in. So take a moment just to have a think about what this landscape looks like for you, and what this pause, this reflection is going to do for you. And if you haven't already, now's a good time to kind of start gathering your ritual objects, and we'll talk about those. So we're working with this planetary conjunction that I mentioned, and also with a collective vibration. Libra is very much about the group, about community, about the collective, and thinking about our place within that. What are we bringing to the masses, to the group, rather than just to ourselves? And again, being in this new physical state of isolation where we're really only talking to ourselves and maybe a couple of other people in face to face, is offering us a big opportunity to think about how we communicate, how we give something back to other people. How can I volunteer if I'm isolating with serious asthma? How can I continue to support my community if I can't be with them, if I can't share with them? How can I teach yoga? How can I help my kids with their schoolwork if I'm trying to work from home and they're just watching TV? There's all sorts of conflicts going on at the moment. So for most of them, looking to the community, looking to the group, both for guidance, support, and a laugh at this time is really important. And our vibration is always stronger together. So even though we're in a different place, thinking along the same page at the same time offers us a great opportunity to raise this vibration. So we're looking at balance in great detail today. Balance is, in this sense, something we're looking at between the physical and the spiritual. I'm going to show you to start with some cards. So I love to work with tarot. Not that I think I'm a gypsy queen or a witch. Sometimes I use the word witch. But I use tarot for intuition. It helps me sharpen my intuition. It helps me as a starting point for journaling, as a starting point to think about where I'm at, what the messages are I need to receive or give out, and to simply keep my mind focused. So I'm going to show you a couple of these cards that I love to use. The first one is the Wild Unknown card, which is two little cats with their tails entwined, the yin and the yang. Trying to make sure I'm showing it low enough for you. Wild Unknown's an amazing tarot, really beautiful, quite overused these days, but I really recommend it, especially if you're just beginning your journey of reading. One of my newest decks is the Moonchild Tarot, and this beautiful little card, the Justice card from her deck, from Danielle's deck, is just gorgeous. You can see that these cards usually involve the Libran scales, they involve a little bit of lighting the way. And finally, this is the Justice card from the Dali Tarot deck, a really amazing, unique deck that I was lucky to be gifted this year. And it's drawn obviously from the work of Salvador Dali. It's a combination of his paintings and then his appropriation of other people's art. And again, the scales and the sword of the Lady of Justice are what leads these cards. So I've used these as the centerpiece of my little grid tonight. So you can probably just about see, and I'll move the camera in a bit so you can see better. I've got kind of a circle. It's kind of a bit more like an oblong. Obviously a circle is the ideal shape to work with in a ritual. We want to create something with no beginning and no end, and where all of the energy is focused and drawn inwards. So I would normally use my rose petals to create a complete circle. Today I've used them to make half the circle and made up the rest with my cards and crystals, just because of the geography of my little sound space tonight. The flowers I've used represent the season we're in, the pink moon, the first signs of spring. So I generally always say flowers, whether I get given flowers, which is always lovely, or whether I buy daffodils or tulips from the supermarket or anything else, I always let them go just a bit dry, and then I just save them in little pots. Actually, they're the pots you can get from the takeaway. They're really handy. And then use them for my rituals in this way. Obviously, when we get to spring, later in spring and summer, you can use your garden, you can forage what you can outside, but it's really nice to have a little toolkit ready to go. And I find that even just a few roses will give me enough petals for quite a large circle. So I've cast my circle, and I've got my cards, which are my signifier cards. They're helping me focus on the theme of balance, and they're staying right in the center here. I've also got my candle, light as opposed to dark. The candle light symbolises both light and dark, because without one we don't have the other, and that's really important to remember with this Jupiter-Pluto energy. That it's easy to think of Pluto as this very dark shadow side of us, and Jupiter as something very light and bright and expansive, but in truth you don't have light without dark, and vice versa. So a candle's always at the centerpiece of everything I do, and then I always use white sage. I prefer the loose leaf variety. You can get little smudge sticks, of course. And the white sage is an amazing clearer. It's also a real antibacterial and antioxidant, and even though it can feel a little smoky, and you probably have seen this smoke has now settled down in here, it's a really great healing tool. So almost every day my partner rolls his eyes when in the morning I put the coffee on, and then I run around smudging sage in every corner of the house. But for me, that's all about cleansing, removing the loose energy, the negative energy that we don't need, making the space clear for the next day. The crystals I'm using today are a real mix. So I mentioned earlier rose quartz, which is a really popular crystal, really easy to get hold of in the UK. So I'm sure you've all seen it. Probably many of you have a piece with you right now. Generally from Brazil, but it's a lovely chunky piece. This is a really important one for me. So rose quartz is the ultimate harmonizing crystal. It represents love in lots of ways, but it really is more about harmony and peace. And the harmony is a word that's really important under this pink Libra moon. We're not just looking for love and happiness, we're looking for harmonized balance, something we've really tried to achieve by balancing our light and dark sides. So rose quartz is something that's super important for this. I've also got green calcite here, which I don't usually use loads actually, and I found this piece in my bathroom after trawling the house. I knew I had a bit somewhere. Green calcite is actually really an interesting stone of transition, and it's about helping you to heal. It's a really good disease healer if you place it over an area that's holding some kind of stagnant disease or something you're struggling to get rid of. It's really great at absorbing negative toxins. But it's really a great stone of transition, and it's about knowing when to let go of things, when to release something that's been blocking you or that just doesn't want to leave your energetic system. One of the main stones I'm working with today is green aventurine, and this is comes in various colours. I've got a lighter and a darker one here, you can probably see. And green aventurine is a stone of opportunity. That's its main criteria, main property. And which seems a little weird to say at this time, but this is a real phase of opportunity, and I'm really, after an initial couple of weeks of toxic breakdown like most of us, particularly in the wellness industry, I'm really seeing this now as a phase of opportunity. We have a chance to evolve into something different, to take a step back from stuff that's slowing us down, bogging us down, to reflect, to go inwards, to do all that work on ourselves that we never get around to, with no pressure whatsoever to complete anything. Obviously everyone's having very different experiences at the moment based on your personal circumstances, so it's by no means a generalisation, and obviously some people are not able to take that time out. But in general, this new approach to life that we're all having to contend with is giving us an opportunity for change, or seeing something in a different way, a new perspective. So green aventurine, really important. I've also got tourmaline. This is a tourmaline in quartz. Tourmaline is the black bit, for anyone that's not sure. And tourmaline is the ultimate protector. So it's a stone that's really popular at the moment. It's popular in the West in general right now. And I think at the moment it's something I'm using nearly all the time. I'm carrying these little small pieces around most of the time with me because they're really amazing for diffusing and transmuting electromagnetic stress. So where we're finding ourselves totally tied to our digital technology, even more than before, tourmaline is an amazing tool for helping to ground the energy and the toxins that puts into your cellular system. So even just a little piece, I'm again giving my partner pieces of this, and every time he leaves the room I go and put one on his laptop or his phone, and it can be a really grounding tool. The last stone I'm working with today is the amethyst, which is very well known. You've probably all seen these little geode spiky dudes. You can get tumble stones of various shapes and sizes, and my favourites are the points, and I don't usually like a pointed crystal. I like a rough one, a raw one that hasn't been polished up, but these ones are great because they are amazing for using with tuning forks. And that's where we're going to start tonight. So wherever you are, take a moment to get yourself comfy. Hopefully you're still sitting up. It doesn't matter too much if you're already lying down. I know this is the chatty bit. Take a deep inhale in through the nose, exhaling through the lips, feeling your lungs completely empty of air. Taking another deep inhale, beginning to focus your mind, your third eye, on your intention, thinking what it is that you want to achieve, receive, or release in your session today. And then exhaling it out. Once more inhaling, drawing your intention in, really becoming fully viscerally aware of whatever it is that you're holding on to that you wish to release, whatever it is that you'd like to invite in. As you exhale, really keep a hold of that vision. And finally, wherever you are, place one hand on your heart, and the other hand can either go across the lower hand, or if you want to, you can place 2 fingers to your third eye. Create a visual in your mind of your intention, whether it's letting something go, inviting something in, changing something, or embodying something. Find a visual that really helps you see that intention coming to life. On your final inhale, breathe into that intention, almost imagine it bursting to life. Feels good, doesn't it? So the last part of this little ritual that I'm going to share with you is working with oils. I've always loved to work with essential oils. Since I was a little girl, I used to crush up the lavender plant outside the house where I grew up and try and make it into perfume that smelled awful. God knows what I did with it, but I think I've got a little better at it now, luckily. So the oils I'm using today are really related not only to the season, but also to the organs that are ruled over by both Libra and the ruling planet Venus. The kidneys and the lower back and ovaries are the areas of the body that Venus rules. And these are traditionally the areas of the body that we give more attention to during a Libran moon. So, you know, whatever you're doing for your daily exercise at the moment, whether it's walking, running, getting in the water, if like us, you're lucky enough to be by the water, or yoga or anything else, it's really good just to have your awareness on these lower aspects of your body. The kidneys are working hard at this time of year to cleanse and flush. That's a big theme. We're working with antibacterial sage and kind of cleansing florals and citruses here. So I've chosen today mostly florals. Rose is the ultimate scent of love and harmony, in keeping with our rose quartz and rose petals. And rose dilute is a beautiful oil I use all the time, and it's something I used to associate a lot with kind of grandmothers and old ladies and lace hankies, but it's just the most beautiful scent. So rose dilute, which just literally 2 little drops of it is so powerful. I'm also using geranium, which is one of my favourites. I love geranium chocolate. If you ever tried that, it's amazing. Montezuma in Brighton, if anyone's lucky enough to have access to them, is a winner. Geranium is another beautiful flower, which is one of my faves. I love having it pop up in the garden in those pinks and reds. But it also is a real hormone balancer. So particularly for women, geranium is an amazing oil, and it's great to have in teas, especially if it's fresh flower petals. It's great to rub in the ovary area, in the kidney area, and it's a perfect addition to our little Libran blend. I'm putting a dash of bergamot in here. I'm personally not a very floral person, and I really like to keep something a little herby or spicy to balance out all those heavy florals. But bergamot does have that lovely kind of aromatic texture, and it's also alongside frankincense, which is the last one I'm using, from that woody family, which is also really good for hormone regulation. Frankincense is my absolute favourite. You have to go gently because it overpowers everything. But frankincense actually comes from a holy wood. It's the same family as the Palo Santo family. And it's heavily attached to your third eye. So it's a wonderful oil, a wonderful scent, whether it's a scented candle or a incense cone, or whichever way you have frankincense, the bath salt, anything at all. It's just fantastic for helping you to focus your attention inwards to your third eye, which hopefully is where you've placed your intention. So I work a lot in my sessions with these amazing little bowls, and I will tell you some more about those at the end. But you can put your oils in anything, sometimes shells or glasses or wherever, but it's nice to blend them organically, I find. Just let them swoosh together, notice how the different colours do different things, and it's kind of like a little marbleized tie-dye. And when I work with this in real life, I normally pass this bowl around the group, which now seems absolute craziness that we would share oils and share eye pillows and all these things. It's amazing how quick the world changes. But hopefully you have something you can use where you are, which will do the same trick, where if you just dab it slightly, I really like to use my oils on my pulse points and under my jaw, down towards the heart, and just a dab down through the third eye. If you grew up in the Catholic Church like I did, the frankincense will probably be really familiar, and it's one of the things that first drew me to ritual and ceremony, is that idea of scent grounding you. So I also like just to have the oil near me, to be inhaling it, to help it activate my senses. Your sense of smell is the sense which is the first one to come in when you're born. It's the last one to leave you when you die. And there's all sorts of science and fiction, but lots of science for sure, about your oils and your scents being the things that can really help to direct and form your intention during a sound journey. So it's I really like to work very specifically with whatever's influenced by the current lunar activity, but also if I'm trying to take my journey towards a particular place or energy, then I might pick scents that really remind me of a certain place to help root that intention down. So hopefully you've got yourself your little ritual all set up. I also have used some classic incense. I use a raw incense that I mix up. And this is, trying to show you, without setting fire to myself. Some raw frankincense, some shaved Palo Santo, crushed up rose petals, and a few secret herbs and bits and pieces. And this all goes onto a little charcoal disc, and that was what you could see at the beginning when the puffs of smoke were making me look like I was an extra in a Mystic Meg TV commercial. And this is really just about helping to set the space in the room, particularly when you're working with sound. It's really nice to allow the sense to embrace all of the instruments, to get into their auras and into their energetics as well as into mine. So I think that's probably enough chat for now. We'll come back to some of these aspects later on. If anyone has any questions about anything that I've got here, anything I'm using, anything that you might want to swap in and out if you're doing this at home, feel free to give me a shout anytime. This is a fundamental part of what I do, is working with rituals, even like this in a very simple way. Simple casting of a circle, adding ingredients that mean something to you and your intention, adding light and dark, adding aspects of the 4 elements, which for me is super, super important. And I add that to absolutely everything. I think that is more than enough to craft a really simple ritual wherever you are. And as we're all having to find, we're improvising like crazy. There's certain things I don't have in my kit that I've run out of, that I will just have to find other things in the house. And I've already raided perfumes, aftershaves, bath salts, cleaning products, the garden, the beach, all sorts of things to see what else I can find to expand my own ritual. But really a ritual is an expression of yourself, of your own journey, and of really an amplifier for what you're going to take into your sound and your meditation. So hopefully this little Libra ritual is a good starting point for you to work out where you would like to be in the next hour or so. So let's just take this moment just to remind yourself of your intention, to remind yourself of the themes, of the idea of things being torn down in order to expand and grow, of the themes of balance, themes of your relationships to others, partnerships. Maybe you have a business partner, maybe it's a marriage, maybe it's a kid, maybe it's a parent you're thinking about. Whatever relationship or ships you want to bring to the fore of your journey and of your mind, your meditation, just spend a moment with whatever you've chosen as your ritual, which might be absolutely nothing. You might be sat there wondering what I'm talking about, and that is fine too. Take a moment just to be sure you know what it is you're looking for in your meditation, because that's half the journey, half the work. And if closing your eyes helps you to do that, helps you to really visualize your intention, your manifest destiny, then that will certainly be something I know I like to use all the time. We're going to move into a meditation working with the crystal bowls. So I absolutely love my crystal bowls. I broke one recently and I was fortunately just able to replace it in time for this session, which I'm really happy about. I'm just going to move my little incense burner out the way because I feel like he is high risk in his current position. So the crystal bowls are, they're actually mostly made of glass. They do have a quartz content. The thing that makes them, in my view, really magical is that they're tuned to 432 hertz, which is the heartbeat of the planet. It's the pulse of the planet, the vibration of the planet. And most traditional music, certainly most tribal music, indigenous peoples from shamans, Incas, Aztecs, the Mayan culture, the Aborigines with didgeridoos, all worked with 432 as a frequency. Somewhere along the line, modern society switched this to 440 for orchestral purposes, and we don't really know why. It seems that it was basically just easier to round up when people were making instruments. But by doing so, we lost the connection that we have through vibration, through sound, to the earth. So these bowls, I believe, really restore that connection, and that's why they just feel so magical, resonating into your body. Hi Beth, just saying hello. Okay. The chat is live, by the way. I know I've been talking at you for half an hour. We are going to get into the sound now, but if anyone does have questions or wants to say anything or comment, it's really nice to see those pop up. So let me know any thoughts you have. I will have a little pause before I get into the full sound bath to answer any questions that come up that are urgent. So take a moment to tap them in now if you need to. So the pink moon, the supermoon that we're under right now, is also known as the sprouting grass moon. This is a shamanic context, and it's really about the season of return of the flowers, this expansion, which also connects with our Jupiter story. And what we're going to do today is visualize ourselves as part of this return and growth and expansion. So If you're not particularly visual normally, it may take a moment or two to connect with what I'm about to walk through with you, but all I need you to do is to just close your eyes, to follow my voice, follow the words, let yourself sink into the sounds. Try not to judge yourself if you come back awake very sharply or you feel like you're just not connecting. Everyone's different, every session is different. This is a different experience for all of us and for me too. So be gentle with yourself and honour wherever it is you get to today. So find yourself a comfortable seat, allow your eyes to softly close. And very gently let your breath find its way into a natural, unforced rhythm. We don't need to worry about following our breath, it just needs to happen without your attention being drawn in or out of it. Wherever you're sitting, imagine or see the earth beneath you. Going down through carpets or rugs or floors, through the foundations of your home or wherever you are. Start to notice the earth underneath you. Become aware of the aspect, the element of earth. Transfer your vision to any open space that's near you. Maybe it's your garden, or if you don't have a garden, might be a plant pot on a balcony, or maybe a green space somewhere in your neighbourhood. And imagine yourself buried deep in the soil of that space, sleeping restfully, peacefully. Imagining yourself as a seed in the earth, being aware that it's time to wake up. It's time to start pushing up through the soil, up towards the sky. And you start to push yourself up through the soil, reaching a soft little shoot until it reaches the surface and breaks through, and you touch air. Is the sign or the element of Libra. Floaty, peaceful, blissful, alive. Feel the sun on the little shoot as it reaches out into the air, and now your petals are unfurling. Expansion and growth. The sun glows warm. There's opportunity for life and for growth. Around you, you realise you're not alone. There's all the other flowers who've also just made their journey out of the soil, up into the air, into new life. As you look around and see those flowers, you realise you're all together, a community, sharing in your existence, your experience and your vibration. Energetically connect to the other flowers. Help each other as you prepare for the morning sunshine, lifting you higher into the sky together. frequencies of the bowls as softly resonate through your bones, your cells, your mind. Call your intention back to mind. Be aware of what brings you balance, what you're seeking to balance out or balance in. Allow your mind to journey through the relationships in your life, the communities in your life. Become aware if there's any areas where there is imbalance or a power struggle. Make your own intention on how this might be resolved and what the most even and harmonious outcome might be for all. As we move into the main sound session, please find yourself a comfortable position. For most people this means lying down, but it can be anything that makes you feel safe and held and secure. Be mindful to take a quick swig of water. It can be very dehydrating, especially if, like me, you've filled your space with beautiful candles and incenses and oils. Just be mindful of your safety, of space around you. Get cozy, get under a blanket. Hopefully you're all in your PJs. No one's really getting dressed anymore anyway, are they? I'm just using some hardware to make it easier to play. Once we're all settled, we'll start returning to our breath. Again, this mindful breathing initially. Mindful in that you're not paying too much attention to it. We'll do that in just a moment. Wherever you are, if you're seated still, you can bring your hands to your knees with the palms open. For most of us lying down, just make sure that your palms are facing up to the sky in the receiving posture. Roll your shoulders a couple of times. You might get a few clicks and quicks, especially if you've been moving a little less than usual. Allow your head to loll softly side to side and just allow some gentle shifts into your body until you feel that you've found your center line. As you take a deep inhale and then exhale through the lips, emptying the lungs all the way out. Feel the belly soften back towards your spine. As you inhale, count to 4, your count. Hold your breath for 4. And exhale through the lips for 8. This conscious breathing sounds something like this. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold softly. 2, 3, 4. Exhale through the lips. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale through the nose. 2, 3, and 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Exhale through the lips. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. One more round in your own time. Once you've completed 3 rounds of conscious breath, bring your awareness back to your palms. Perhaps if you've chosen a crystal to work with this evening, you might want to just place it softly on whichever palm feels right for you. Your right side is your more masculine, solar, energetic side. Your left side more yin and feminine, more to do with the moon. Don't make too much of a decision, just go where feels right. If you've chosen to hold a rock or anything else, you might notice your hand feeling heat, a connection, an energetic transaction between the rock and your palm. All things are energy, remember, all things are vibration. We're all just vibrating at different frequencies. Just because something looks hard and inanimate doesn't mean it's not living its best life, being held in your palm. Whether you're holding something or keeping your palms bare, just send your attention to the very center of your palms till you feel them tingle, feel the heat. Feel the energy that you're holding in your own body. On your next inhale, draw that tingle, that energy up through the palms, through the wrists, the elbows, up to the shoulders, through the jawline, through the cheeks until the points meet at the tip of your nose. Space between the eyebrows, the third eye. As you exhale, send that tingle back down through each nostril, down through the jaw, through the shoulders, through the upper arms, the elbows, the wrists, and catch the energy back in your palms. Inhale, drawing your energy back up from the palms all the way back, as if you're drawing the two edges of a triangle meeting at that point in your third eye. As you exhale, release the energy back, catch it in your palms. One more, inhaling, power up your third eye. See if you can really feel that tingly heat move from your palms. Move with awareness through your body. Hold it in your third eye, and if you're not already lying down, use your exhale to lie yourself down, preparing to receive your sound journey this evening. Welcome back, everybody. This is the strangest bit of these cyber soundscapes. Wondering how many of you are asleep and how many of you are wide awake or anything in between. Wherever you are, now's a good time to start reconnecting with your physical body. Gently start to take a few deep breaths, start to feel the air as it moves all the way back into the lungs and the belly. Feel your belly fill and lift. Maybe some small movements in the fingers and toes, maybe flexing out the hands and wiggling the toes. Rotate your ankles and maybe some small circles back and forth with your shoulder. Gently starting to reawaken the spine. So as always, respecting the fact that for some people sound is a really deep meditation. You may find yourself really far out of body, really distant, disconnected. Maybe you know exactly where you've been, maybe you've got no idea. For some people, sound can offer an opportunity for out-of-body travel, for astral travel, shamanic journeying, anything beyond consciousness. So for everybody the experience is different, for everybody it's different every time. So in this scenario more than ever, if you've had a different experience to something you've experienced in the past, don't be afraid or fearful or disappointed. And as always, if anyone wants to share anything they've found or been part of in their sound journey, I'm always excited to hear your stories and willing to offer any advice or thoughts I can on your journey and what you may expect next time or what you might expect to happen in a few days. It's worth mentioning for everybody that usually sound takes a few days to work through your body. So in this new world order, we're still experimenting, but I think it's fairly safe to assume that 3 to 4 days continues to be the norm. So do expect to feel some kind of shift, some kind of energetic rebalancing as your body takes in this Libra energy and understands through your intention what you're going to do with it. So hopefully you're reconnected in whatever way is right for you this evening. I want to thank each and every one of you for being here with me tonight. I can't tell you how much it means to me to have you guys coming along to these sessions virtually, to be supporting not only yourselves and your own mental and spiritual well-being, but supporting me and mine and me as a small business. I think this work is so important, and I've poured my heart and soul and life 2.0, I always call it, into space holding and being a sound practitioner, and it's just amazing to still be able to have these experiences with you all. So as I sent out in my newsletter today, I think some of you will have seen it, that it's been incredible to hear how many people have been attending these sessions with family members in different places, and creating that connection across the miles just feels really unique and special, and something we can really enjoy in terms of this kind of Libran relationship focus that we're in right now. So we would normally close and circle by all breathing together. So we'll do something along those lines, inhaling, taking the air, the energy of the room, of the space, deep into your soul, into your body, into your mind. If it serves you to have one hand at your heart and one at your belly, or one at your heart and one at your third eye, then do just whatever feels intuitively right for you. Perhaps using any of your essential oils, of any of the ritual kit that's around you to reground yourself, to draw yourself back to your physical being. One of the delicious things about online sound is you haven't got to get in a car and go anywhere afterwards. You can just stay in your PJs on the sofa or on the bed and chill out. So please do make the most of that. I'll be dropping you guys an email tomorrow, maybe the day after, just to check in, see how you're doing. Find out if you have any questions. As always, it's one of the hardest things is to really showcase the ritual work I do in this environment, but I think we've done a decent job together, so thank you for your patience, even though it feels a bit like talking at you for big chunks of the session. Thank you for being here. I hope you all stay well, stay safe, and stay light in these times, and the same for all of those around you. Please continue to support small business, support your local independent retailers. Only buy stuff on Amazon if you have to. Talk to your family on Zoom or get them to come along to these. It's a great opportunity to do things together digitally that maybe you'd never do together in the real world. I'll be holding soundscapes on the moons as usual, so the next one of these is going to be on the 22nd of April, which is actually Earth Day. So I had a session booked at the old bakery in Truro, which obviously won't be happening, so we're going to recreate that in the gong room. The theme will be the elements in honour of Earth Day, and it does happen to be the new moon in Taurus the following day, April 23rd, so we'll be touching on that too. In the meantime, if you'd like to connect for sounds the rest of the time, I'm running 3 sessions a week at the moment that will be going up. We'll be doing 30-minute meditations, Mondays at 1, Wednesdays at 3 and Fridays at 6. You can find all the details on my website, which you're all on, so silenceandnoise.co.uk. And for those of you in the social whirl, I post fairly regularly on Instagram, so you can find me there at _silenceandnoise_. For anyone particularly interested in ritual work, there is a new project launching called Rock and Ritual, which is something I've been working on for quite a long time, that was going to be crowdfunded during April, and obviously now things have changed. I thought we'll just use this full moon energy to make it happen. So do keep an eye on social media if you're interested in receiving ritual kits in advance of sound sessions. I'll be starting to send out custom made kits with my lovely little bowls that I use, with custom candles, with custom blend oils. It's all very custom, but the idea is you can't get it anywhere else. Everything is handcrafted and unique to the session in question. So thank you all for your presence. So wonderful to connect with you all once again. Do drop me a message in the chat if you'd like to right now. Say hi, let me know how you are, or by all means let me know